What's up, Dream Team? So I am back with the continuation of the last video. Just a rundown. I'm Shan. This is Dream with Shan. I am a physician. I completed medical school back in December. I officially graduate and match this year. So match is March the 18th, and graduation for me is at the end of May. But I'm a physician, and in this video I'll talk about the specialty I will be entering into, as well as sharing some little random facts that happened to me along the interview trail. So I kind of left off in the last video hinting to what specialty I applied to give you. But first I'm going to share with you a random fact from the interview trail. Very last interview in end of January. Like I said, I had pretty smooth interviews. I got a question and they asked me what was my motivation for medicine, and also what was something that made me not really be motivated about medicine. You done? For some reason, that question like triggered me. I've had interviews where I've kind of talked about my grandparents and a little choked up or a little bit had to stop and breathe a little bit and keep going, but never did this happen to me. So, and this on my last interview this season, when I got that question, I thought about my grandmother and I thought about her experiences and how she inspired me to want to be, a certain type of physician and help, certain populations. And I cried. Like, I literally was like, my voice sounded different, crying through talking. I felt so bad. I felt so bad when I did that. But my interviewer, he was so empathetic. And the thing is, the interviews are timed. So I was cutting into the time, crying and stuff. But he was so empathetic and so understanding and just talked about how that wasn't a weakness. It just showed that I had compassion for the community and all this other kind of stuff. And I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I was like crying on the interview. I was like, girl, put your big girl panties on and get it together. But that question honestly triggered me. So yeah, that's another experience that I've had on the interview trail. Now back to what you really want to know. You really, really want to know what specialty I am going into, or this video is going to be close to match day. I'll share with you. So the specialty that I applied to, like I said in the last video, is kind of like a trick question. Because I went into medical school already having my mind made up I wanted to do primary care, and having my mind made up that I was interested in family medicine and obstetrics and gynecology, but I didn't know which one I liked more. I have done several years of research related to women's health and maternity related things. So OB was like, yeah, but I really enjoy family medicine because, like I said, I enjoy the continuity of care. I enjoy the building rapport with patients, being able to see womb to tomb, all that kind of stuff. I really do like that. But there are aspects about every specialty that I, enjoy that I didn't like, or that I was like, oh, I could do without that. So for me, with family medicine, it's really the training that I was like, the training is, you kind of go through everything because you have to know everything. So that scared me. And it scared me because at times, imposter syndrome, you doubt what your abilities are. And I was like, I've struggled with standardized testing. So how am I going to go into a specialty that I have to know every single thing about every single one? So that honestly was one of the things that scared me about family medicine. And then OB. I love the labor and delivery part of OB. And I see, what's up? I really love the labor and delivery part of OB, but I'm not a surgery person. You guys have seen my other video. If you haven't, check it out. I do not like surgery like that. I was like, oh my goodness.
Mommy!
Yes.
I want to see you.
You want to see? I was like, I don't like. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, so which one do I want to do? And I kind of went back and forth for a long time, and I initially decided that I was only going to do family medicine. And I decided I'm only going to apply to family medicine. And then maybe a week or two before I was going to start the week before I was going to start my dedicated step 2 study time, I had a talk with my OB department, and they kind of like convinced me that OB is, for me and this and the other. And I was like, okay, now OB. So when I went into the application cycle, I had my mind made up, like this maybe a month or two, that I was going to apply to family medicine OB. And then of course, I always have these aha moments. I realized that I really love talking to people about just what's going on in their life and trying to figure out ways to both medically and non-medically, help them with those problems. So that's where psychiatry came in. And the head of my psychiatry residency program kind of like convinced me that I would be a great psychiatrist. And I was like, okay, cool. So at this point, this is before ERAS, which is the system that we use to apply to residency. This is before all of this. So I was like, oh, I like family. Oh, I like OB. Oh, I like psychiatry. And so when it came down to it, I decided to apply to family medicine, obstetrics, gynecology, and psychiatry. And I did not apply to them equally. I knew that I was leaning more towards family medicine, so I applied to way more family medicine programs. And then I only applied to maybe a handful of OB programs and a handful of psychiatry programs that fit the things that I wanted to do in life, or fit my region, or fit the type of curriculum that I wanted to do. So I was like, if God wants me to entertain these fields, then even though I've only applied to a fraction of programs, then he'll grant me the opportunity to interview with them. So I'm submitting my application, or I'm in the process and I'm researching programs. And then I come across something called primary care track. And I'm like, wow, what is this? So primary care track, which is different programs have different tracks, but primary care track is a track in which you focus on outpatient medicine, you focus on community-based medicine, preventative medicine, public health. Those are all the things I like. Those are all the things that are like aligned with my future, aligned with what I want to do. So I'm like, okay, well, let me find programs that have a primary care track. Okay. And then, so when I looked up programs that have primary care track, make sure you put that in the trash can. Put it in the trash. When I looked up programs that had primary care track, the only programs that had them were internal medicine programs. I'm like, oh my God, a fourth specialty. So I looked at the programs and they were all over the U.S. Which maybe it's more than it was more than like 20 programs that had that track, but only maybe like 5 or 6 in my region that I wanted to look into. So I added extra applications, and this is after I've already submitted my applications and I've already started getting interviews and stuff like that. I submitted a few applications to internal medicine. I bet y'all like, this girl is all over the place. But for me, I'm going to tell you what my motto is in life. My motto is in life, I never want to have a regret. I know the path that I want. I know the type of curriculum I need to learn. I know the type of patients I want to see. I'm pretty sure on that. And I want a program that fits those things. So if that happens to be a niche here, a niche there, and this specialty and that specialty, I'm going to explore, because I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to be unhappy 10 years down the line because I'm stuck in a specialty that's not fulfilling to me, that's not allowing me to touch the populations I want to touch. So I was like, I'm going to apply, and at the end of the day, it's my money. It's my money. It's my money. It's my money. It's my money to waste or to profit off of. But yeah, so for anyone who guessed, I applied primarily to family medicine because that was my first choice specialty. I applied to OB because I enjoy labor and delivery, and I wasn't sure, I wanted to kind of explore to see if it was something I can do. And then I also applied to psychiatry because, again, I love that human aspect, that let's sit down and talk. Tell me what's going on and how can I help you, or, and then I applied to internal medicine because there were several programs in which had primary care tracks. And I don't think I said this, but with a primary care track, with internal medicine, you spend majority of your time in the hospital setting, which is not my forte. So that's why I was not interested in internal medicine, because you spend most of your time in internal medicine. And also you don't really, in the primary curriculum, you don't have set time for obstetrics and gynecology. And again, I wanted to explore that. So these programs were outpatient based, and I applied. After going through the interview cycle and being able to narrow everything down, I realized which of those 4 I really, really liked. And I'll tell you that in another video. But yeah, so whoever guessed that I applied to more than one specialty, you were right. And I tell people, the advice that I would give anyone is you have to be comfortable with whatever your decisions are. Your school may say, oh no, you need to stick to this or that. Or your school may say, you need to branch off. You have to be comfortable with it. For me, so I tell people, go where your heart is. Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. So even in a specialty, if a specialty does not have everything you want and you see something else in another specialty, explore that. Learn more about it. Do your research. And that means also applying to those specialties just to see if when you're interacting with the faculty, when you're learning about the curriculum and the things they offer, if that's something that interests you, then do it. So in my next video, again, I'll tell you which of the 4 specialties that I applied to that I am deciding to match into, because I have ultimately decided not to rank all of the programs that I interviewed at. I have decided to only rank one specialty, and of that specialty, I'm only ranking a select number of programs. So thanks again for watching. If you're not a part of the Dream Team, please subscribe. I am Shan, or Dr. Shan. I gotta figure out what my new little name gonna be, but yeah. So join the Dream Team, subscribe to the channel. I look forward to sharing with you guys some things that I have going on. And yeah, I will see you in the next video when I tell you what specialty is about to house me.
What's your name?
What's my name?
What's your name?
What's your name?